Now, there is another issue that has arisen. And this great debate that we are having that is of historic proportions on what's going to happen to this law that was passed in this body by a 60-vote margin. What's happened is there's been a lot of lawsuits filed. And in 2 cases, federal district judges have ruled that the law is constitutional. And in 2 other cases, federal district judges, this is the lower court of the federal court system, they have ruled that it is not constitutional. Now, of course, we have had action by the legislative branch. The other house, the House of Representatives, have voted to repeal the law, and now here we are with the issue in front of us, of which we're going to vote later today. Well, doesn't anybody conclude that this matter is going to the Supreme Court to decide if this law is constitutional or not? When the Supreme Court decides, regardless of what we've done here or what we haven't done, the Supreme Court decision is going to discard political and partisan interest. And so, isn't it in our interest, isn't it in the common sense interest, if we would come here and join together in a resolution to petition the Supreme Court to have an expedited review of this case? Now, typically what happens with these 2 for and 2 against, that's going to work its way up through the Court of Appeals, and that's going to take another year and a half, and then it'll get to the Supreme Court, and that'll take another year and a half. Why don't we just expedite the matter? And why don't we express our intent to have an expedited review by the Supreme Court? Well, I have filed such a sense of the Congress, a resolution, and its passage might prevent people from arguing back and forth over this law for the next several years. And everybody in this country that's going to be affected would have an answer, and they deserve an answer. And therefore, I would urge the Senate to consider adopting the resolution asking the Supreme Court to step in and to decide quickly whether the current law meets the constitutional test. My preference is that we fix the law, that we not throw it out. I don't want to go back to the days of the insurance companies dropping people because they get sick or depriving seniors of help getting their prescription drugs. But because the matter ultimately is going to be resolved by the nation's highest court, I think we ought to take a common sense approach of this resolution. And I would urge my colleagues to adopt it.